Hello, this is part 2 of the how to trace a picture, and I found this picture in a magazine. This is kind of the stuff I normally paint, so I thought it'd be appropriate. I'm going to show you how to do a grid using this. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is divide the picture into squares. When you're using squares, it doesn't matter the size of the squares on your page and the size of the squares on your wall or your canvas, because a square is a square. So the only thing you need to do is have the same amount of squares here and here. So if you got 4 across and 4 down, you need 4 and 4. If you had rectangles or something else, then your measurements are very important. But because you're using square, you don't have to calculate anything. You just got to make sure they're all the same size here and the same size there individually, if that makes any sense. Okay, so now I've traced the grids. So I've gone with 8 squares this way and 8 squares this way. The size of them, that's just down to what you're comfortable with. If instead of 8 squares I was to cramp more, like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, the more squares I get in there, the easier it's going to be to paint the picture. But at the same time, excuse me, at the same time, it's going to take you a long time to do the grid. So if you're doing a canvas or something at home or whatever, that's fine. But if you're doing something on a wall, you get a thing that's going to take you a while. So this is kind of the size I'm happy with. So I've gone with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and then 1, 2, 3 this way. So I've got numbers and letters, so then it doesn't get too confusing. I like to put them right at the top and right at on the left hand side for an average size picture. When it's really long, I normally write the letters again, so the numbers again, and then if it's a massive grid, then I would write the letters again. Okay, so now that I've got this, what I've got to do is get exactly the same grid onto the wall. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so now I've traced the grid. So I've got compressor getting in. So I've got A, B, C, D, F, G, H, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now that I've got this, by the way, this is the size that I use most often, is 10 centimeters square. And when I'm tracing on the page, I normally do 2 centimeters. But again, it doesn't matter about the size. They just have to be proper square on here and square on here. So if I wanted to, I could make them 15 centimeters. If you like inches, I could make them half an inch or whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as it's the same amount of squares, that's all good. Right, so the trick that you want to do, I like to trace with my level as well. It's kind of handy. Right, so that's my square. So the trick is, you pick a square. Obviously, you pick the right one in that right box or whatever. But say, imagine I take that number 5A right there. The way it works is, imagine you've got a line cutting the box in the middle. I'm just going to go with this, kind of straight. I could use the level, but it's all the way down there, can't be bothered. Alright, so imagine all of this is my box, and this is just imaginary. You're just imagining that. It's not actually there. And then I'm going to grab another color and split it in thirds. So it's about right there, and about there, and here, something like that. Okay, so this, let me just bring this a bit closer. Okay, bring this up. Okay, so you've got this box right now, and these white lines and these blue lines, they're just imaginary. That's just in your head. So when you let me grab another color again. Okay, so I'm gonna use purple to trace the picture. Can you see this? Yeah. Okay, so just gonna get out the picture. Okay, so set the number 5A. What I want to do is imagine I want to divide the boxes in my head. So right now I'm thinking what makes the most sense is to divide it by half. So using the white ones. So I'm kind of thinking the nose is reaching close to the end there. At the same time I'm imagining that's cutting it in the middle there. So let's see this. So it's about there. And then again, see the middle, it's not really helping me, so I'm going to think of the third now. So I'm going to try and divide the box by thirds. It's not working either, so I guess I'm going to cut the box in 4. Tell you what, I'll cut this as well. So that'll be middle again. This is how I do it. I was never taught how to do a grid, so it might be a better way, but this is how I do it. Okay, so now you've got, this is, whenever I'm doing a grid, this is what I do. I try and make sense of the box I'm looking at by first dividing in half. If that doesn't work, I do in thirds, and if that doesn't work, then I do in quarters. And that would be a quarter there. Okay, I'll take white again. Right, so now that I've got all my marks, then I can start tracing all of this. So the tip of the nose there kind of looks, this is the beginning of the box. Let me just put a dot. Right, so that's the edge of the box there. Make it a nice line. There you go. So you can see the nose is quite close and it looks like it's cutting in the middle. So that's my middle line and it's quite close, so I'll be estimating about there. This is obviously, it can be wrong, it can be here, but I guess it's about there. And by the time it comes to tracing the whole picture, if it's a bit wrong, I'll sort of adjust it. Now I'm looking at the top there, where the top of the nose cuts that line between the 4 and the 5. And I'm thinking that's exactly on a quarter. So you got 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, 4 quarters. So I'm guessing it's about there. Up there. And about the line, I'm going to estimate this. But there's one technique that I'll talk about in the next part, in part 3 of doing freestyle, is using most often a can, but in this case a marker pen, and you put the pen in the same direction as your, I don't know where the camera's seeing the angle, but as the nose. Once you've got the angle, you put it there, and then you can just trace towards it. And then obviously you adjust so that it can match the picture. So basically whenever you're using a grid, you're estimating all the time. You're kind of working in the fog of it, and then when you finish the whole picture, then you make sense of it all. Right. So the bottom of the nose there reaches close to the corner, and it's kind of a quarter on either side, but it's just a bit more. So it's kind of like here, and then I can't really. If I was to be comfortable doing this, you wouldn't really see what I'm doing because I'd have to go in front of the camera, because what I want to do is go, put the marker pen in the right direction. Then I can start with that starting point right there, and then just position it there, and then do a straight line. As far as the curvature of the nose and all that, I can sort that out after. What I want to do is get a straight line. Even that's too detailed for now. What I want to do is just get a straight line, so then I get the angle. Again, for the tip of the nose, it's something about this. And then once I'm pretty happy with all of it, when everything sort of cuts, then I can make it look nicer and just kind of sort things out a bit like that. And then I can bring the inside with the same rolls. I'm guessing this is about a third right there, and between a third and half, which is that, and then it's going past thing like that. It's coming back about there, something like this, and that would be the nose, and then so on. Okay, I just wanted to show you this on kind of a close-up thing, so it's easier. Now I'm going to trace the whole picture in this thing. I'll start at normal speed and then I'll speed it up a bit so it's not too long. Okay, so one thing I do a lot is making sure I'm on the right box. So I'll be going D4, D4, D4 kind of thing. I know it sounds like I'm a bit slow or something, but it's so easy to go, yeah, that's D4, and then, oh shit, that was E4. And then you gotta, you got that part to do again. So it's best if you, there's a carpenter's tip that's measure twice, cut once, that kind of thing. Anyway, A4. So it's about there, going up to about the middle, maybe a bit less. A straight line, like that. And then 5, which is down, so it's close to there. Going up like this. That goes about there. Obviously I'm not tracing the lines, cutting the line in the box in half, in thirds, in whatever, that's just in my head. I'm just guesstimating where it would land. So, like I did earlier, put it there. I've done quite a few of these, so it's I'm going a bit quickly, and also this is a small grid. If I was on the street, then that would be a lot bigger. Then obviously it's I've got to move back, forth, and all that stuff, and it takes me a bit longer. And when I started with these, I mean, I was slow. I only started doing these because I was watching my friends. JXE, shout out to JXE, shout out to Nasha. And they use grids, and their work is exceptional. And I'd be there painting, freestyle, and I'd be, oh, it's out of proportion. So I kind of got annoyed, and then I thought, you know what? Let's do what they do. Check out their work, by the way. jxedesigns.com and nashamurals.com or .co.uk. Right, okay, so I'm on 7B. By the way, one thing that's really important, whenever you're doing a grid, don't try to think you're cleverer than what you've just traced. If the box, see, like right now I was thinking, nah, that actually goes a bit further. No, the box says that, so stick to the box. Every time I want to be more clever than the box. And whenever you do that, you're out of proportions. So don't try to think, you know better. You're just tracing what you've already done. So just stick to what you see. And this might sound a bit silly, but every single time I do a grid, that's what happens. I think I know better. Okay, that's about right. If it's not 100% right, doesn't matter, because I'll sort it out afterwards. So about there. You see there, I'm thinking that's the middle. It's close to the middle, slightly there. And then sort it out like that. If you've got a better way of doing a grid, let me know. Because I use grids and might be useful to me. This is the part I don't really enjoy doing the tracing, whether I use a projector, freehand, projector, whatever. Great. I just want to get this done as soon as possible so I can start painting. And before I used to think, oh no, people are going to think I'm not a real artist if I use projector. Now I don't care. If that means I'm going to start painting quicker, brilliant. Okay, so now we've got B5, B5, right there. And there's one thing that's super important as well, is, sorry by the way, I'm not speeding this video up, it's going to be super long again. Hang on, 1 second. Right, so that'd be about there. Cool. Yep. There's one thing that's important, and I forgot what it was. Yes, do a good grade. I've done some bad paintings, even though I was using a grid, and I was like, why? I've used a grid. It should be in focus. I mean, it should be in proportions. What's going on? But then I'm tracing with a spray can like that, all wonky. That's why. You need to really do this properly, even if it takes you a while. If you do a painting, I'm talking from my own personal experience with what I've done in the past. When I've done a painting where the proportions have been great, but the painting was not so good, it was fine. But whenever I've done a painting that had great flesh tones and blends or whatever, the nose was in the wrong place, it just looks bad. Get the proportions right, and then if the blends and the details and whatever aren't perfect, that's second rate. It doesn't matter as much. Get the proportions right. This is super important. Okay, so we've got... Okay, I'll speed this up a bit. Okay, so just so that you can see better, I'm going to use a bit of cans and sort out the skin tones. That kind of looks cool with the writing. Just so I don't die in here, I'm going to use a postcard for the black. Actually, it's off topic, so I guess I'll just stop so the video is not too long. I kind of love what I do, so I don't want to stop either. Let's just do an outline real quick, and then I'll just stop with this. Now do the signature. Bam. Cool. Okay, so this is how to use a grid. If you got any questions, let me know and I'll answer them in the description. The next one, the part 3 coming up, is the most difficult, especially to film. I don't know how I'm going to do it, we'll see. And that's to go freestyle. And the fourth one is to use a stencil. I hate stencils, it's just, it's too much work. I just like to get on with it. But sometimes stencils have their place, so I'm going to show you how to do that. And I think there's a fifth, but I can't remember what it was. Anyway. I hope this was useful to you. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, talk about my channel to your friends so I can grow and feel good. And let me know what you want to hear next and I'll do a video about that. See you later.